we got a lot of love to our previous video on project system, so just decided that we'll create more videos on the project system, right? So the earlier video was like uh, we rounded up entire project system config in 30-35 minutes. So this time we will try to go in detail, starting from the basics to the advanced. So we'll start with understanding the concept of project system, and then the use cases of it. We'll deep dive into the configuration. There are not a lot of configuration when it comes to project system, but the use cases and the scenarios and how you should make the most efficient use of whatever is provided in the system. That that there is more to that part when it comes to project system. That's why even when we created earlier video, we were able to sum up the entire configuration in just like 30-35 minutes. So if you want to just like quickly catch up on the entire standard config that is there um, for the project system, which is like mostly used in most of the industries. Obviously like we can't cover, we can't say like we have covered end to end or from 1 to 100% of the config, but yeah, most of the things that are useful, if you want to just catch up on those, you can watch the earlier video that we have on our channel. But skipping to now, yeah, so what we are going to do in this video is we are going to first analyze the system. There are some client specific setup that has to be done, or that is like predefined in the system, that we'll first try to understand, analyze. Then we'll try to understand the concept of project system, why it is used and all those things, and then go through the each of the configuration. And then at the end, or maybe in the second part of the video, we'll try to discuss the uh, use cases, or the more in more detailed way. We'll try to discuss the scenarios that is used, mostly used in the project system, the nitty-gritties of small teeny tiny details that we have in project system. So we'll try to uncover such things in this video. So first of all, like this is like totally new system that we just got, and we don't have any company code configured here or anything at all. And we are not even going to waste our time in doing that. We are trying to make use make most of the use of like existing stuff that is there in the sandbox system, right? So already a lot of users are using it, so they must have created a lot of data in it. All we need to find is a company code with a controlling area, proper setup of controlling area, and then we can straightly jump into the project system configuration, right? So in order to find that also, so we will go through a unique journey here, understand how we can, like when you go on to a new organization, how you should do the analysis of your system, right? How you should uh, ch- which tables you should check in, what data you should look for to understand the build of the system, to understand the integrations of your current or new client that you're working for, right? Okay, so I just found out one company code 2020, uh, which had a good amount of setup from the company code config and controlling area config as well. So I'll just show it to you once. This company code 2020 in TW01, and then after that we'll straight jump into looking at the project system, right? I think it's taking more time due to, it could be due to the internet connection as well. It's a Sunday evening and usually Wi-Fi works a bit slower. So yep, uh, this look good to me to use it further in the project system. So before we like go and start checking out the config of the project system, I'd like to first see if there are any existing projects created by anyone in the sandbox system. And to do so, we can take a reference of couple of tables. So one table is PROJ, which will store the uh, kind of project definition header level part or project definition level details, and then we have PRPS, which will store the WBS level details. So under each project, we will have a n number of WBS elements, right, assigned to it. So yeah, these two tables are just work uh, like how you have GL master data, you have SKA1 for chart of account level data and SKB1 for company code level data. Not exactly the same, but yeah, PROJ kind of contributes to the project definition level where you have high level of information about project, and PRPS kind of gives you the detail level of details for each for each WBase element. So I'll just execute wide open the PROJ and there is absolutely nothing. So no point in checking PRPS or any other table, right? So let's go into the configuration of project system. There is a separate node in the SPRO for project system. We have to go bit towards the end of SPRO screen, and then yeah, once you open it you have a lot of different things, but we can see a lot of different things, but very rarely all of these features of project system being used. So far haven't seen this claims and collaboration and these things being used. So but yeah, most importantly, to create a structure for a project, we need to configure the structure part. Then on the cost part, on the cost node, we will get to know or we'll get to configure more about the controls of budgeting or the controls, the way uh, the project system should receive the amount or the amount to be stored in the against the project system or against the WBS elements, and all those things. Planning, budgeting will come under the cost. We'll look at it one by one. First we'll just go ahead and look at the structures. So operative structure and template. So there are like two parts to project system. In project system we also have a standard templates which we create one time and then those templates are being used multiple times as a reference to create the actual projects, right? So templates or structures are something that uh, usually, because if you see the at the project system or at the project, the hierarchy of project is very in detail and very long, and it's a very time consuming activity to build that hierarchy. So you once you build it, or once the business have that hierarchy, you create a structure of that hierarchy so that next time whenever you have to create such a project, we just have to take that hierarchy as a reference, which will work as your template, and then you just copy and paste it into a project. So look at the operative structures under WBS element, work breakdown structure, right? So first thing we'll look at the project coding mask, right? So define special character at projects. We'll look at it. So there are these different characters or special characters that could be used when you create a project, right? The basically the naming convention of the project. So each of these characters that we enter over here as a special character can be used as uh, can be used in the naming convention of your project. So we'll see how we can use this character. These are like a system provided itself. By default, by SAP has suggested these characters to be used as special characters, and mostly these characters suffice the requirement of any project. But if you want to change any of these into anything else, you can like do it, but it's not recommended because the special character always comes with various challenges, because not only in SAP but the systems that are integrated with the SAPs and all those things. Even if you have seen, like if you extract certain kind of reports out of SAP and if there are any special characters that you are extracting along with it, other softwares or systems might not support those characters. For example, in Excel we see a lot of these issues, or there are like other reporting tools that are connected to SAP, which could cause an issue if we use any uh, special character which is not supported across your system environment, right? So a lot of these things have to be considering project coding mask. Yeah, this one is the important one. So how do you want to have your uh, project to be masked or to be coded, right? So the initial rater we give here, like somebody has given y z, I'm not sure if it's system provided or somebody did give it, but yeah. So how the project naming convention should be, there lot of thought process goes behind it. When you will work on actual project system, you will see each letter in that project name have a meaning behind it, and there is like a lot of thought process has been gone behind it to be deciding that the naming convention should be in a certain way or should be in certain different way, or however it is, right? So for our we'll just create one. Mostly this C and E uh, are used for to just to showcase some projects are capital and some projects are expense projects, some projects are capex project, right? Capex and opex project. This can be used for with the different purposes as well. For example, for different kind of let's say for marketing related projects, you can give M as a character which you could use. Just this is just an example, but yeah, let's not look at it. Enter and edit mask, right? So now here we, how do we want to give, like first four digit after C there should be a four digit, what we are basically telling system that how my each project should have its own naming convention. So after C there should be a four digit and then maybe a dot or maybe a hyphen, like however I want. Then there should be one character and then again hyphen and then there should be again four characters, right? Let's say this is how I'm saying it. Mask must begin with a letter. Okay, okay, got it. So begin with letter. All right. And same for this, hyphen x hyphen xxx. Okay, since we entered over here, let's just give this. I'll just quickly save this. This warning to it. I don't have any TR created in this system as of now. So let's create project system TR. Right, we saved this. Just like we'll quickly come back and let's see if we can read through the documentation of this config node. So right now we just said like there should be like it should project should start with C alphabet and then it should be followed by four numbers. So uh, these four numbers could mean something to a business, right? These four character business could give it from their site or from their plant or from their business area, or it could be anything, but there will always be some purpose behind it. And then we said after four numbers let's follow it up with some character, uh, or it could just be a sequential number, yeah. there's always a possibility of that. And then we said let's follow it by a later. So again, that later that we are going to give to each WBS element or hierarchy of WS element is going to mean something, right? So it's never gonna be something that uh, uh, randomly we are putting up the characters out there and just making it longer form of the project number or WBS element, right? Till the last of its characters there will be some number. Sometimes it will be a sequential numbers to just differentiate between one project to another and one WBS to another one. But yeah, there will always be some kind of meaning behind doing this naming. And so even in order to for yourself to be able to uh, get up with this smart kind of naming convention, you need to have a lot of experience. You need to have seen a lot of systems and their configurations and their naming convention and their ideology behind that naming convention, so that you can propose something to a business, work something out with the business to make it most efficient, uh, numbering of your WS element. I just open it and there is some information over here. So you can see X stands for alphanumeric characters, 0 stands for numeric, and special character is just to organize the project, right? So the way we have entered our numbering, we said like start with the C hyphen and then followed up by 4 characters. So let's just say these are just sequential numbers for our project, and then follow it up with one alpha numeric character, and then after again 4 digit with 4 characters, right? This could give some, maybe this could have some meaning towards what kind of WBS element it is or what kind of project it is, right? So this is about the coding mask, which is on a client level setup. Again, will be applicable to all on the entire system, to all the controlling areas, all the company codes, irrespective of region and all, right? Then let's see, there's some WBS user status profile and all, so we'll not go into it. We'll just use the standard status profiles and all, but just let's have a look at one, yeah, project and then WBS element. If we go on the WBS element, okay, interestingly there is nothing here. Let's go on this. There is nothing here. Initial status, yeah, here we have something. PS, nothing is defined here. On WS level also nothing is defined. Let's check something. We just need something to be status check, which will be initial. I believe we should have, okay, let's just keep this part as of now as it is. Usually, when we have to create a user defined status, and I believe this is for, yeah, this is for the user defined status, so we'll come back to it later point of time. There is a lot of good use cases on having a user defined status. We could assign different kind of activities to each status as allowed and not allowed. Let's say if the project is in uh, approval pending status, then let's not allow user to create any POs using the WBS elements of that project, right? So all these activities can be controlled using the user status, WBS user status, which will come back later. Right now, let's focus more towards getting the project system setup ready, right? Create project profile. Yeah, this is one of the important part that we have to go through. So there is one standard project profile setup. We'll just look at it. And field key WBS user defined fields. Yeah, that's fine. Validation substitution rule, one of the important aspect of project profile. A lot of substitution and validation rules goes into a project system when you work on an actual client. Yeah, the status profile PS001 and 002, which is assigned as of now in a standard. Go to the organization, you see the different organization level details which could be assigned. The recommended would be just update the controlling area, and let's not limit your project profile to like company code level or business area, plant, or any other level for that sake, right? And then here, yeah, the object class, like whether this project profile is uh, relevant for the OPEX related project or CAPEX. So there should be some for the CAPEX. Yeah, I'm not sure why this is not working, but let's just say um, investment related something. Yeah, investment. Yep, there you go. Will not change it. Whether it is a statistical profile, which will just lead to your statistical projects. Costing sheet, investment profile is again important thing that we will look into it. Settlement profile, result analysis keys will be used for reporting purposes with production planning. So let's just come back out of it. Settlement profile is something that we need to look at. Object class is fine. So yeah. So whatever we have seen or we need, we'll just quickly go around and have a look at it and then come back with the project folder. Or we could also do a thing that let's create a project profile and then fill up the remaining phases, right? Let's do that. So we'll just copy the standard one first so that we don't have to fill up everything. So if you remember, our company code that we decided to use was 2020, and so we'll say 2020 cap, which will basically say capex, right? 2020 capex, yes, profile. So let's just keep these field keys, and these are standards. Substitution validation will be blank as of now. We'll look at it later. Controlling area will just say 2020, and then as discussed, we would not like to, yeah, project currency should absolutely not be. And then yeah, here since we are seeing it as capex, we'll give to as investment as our object class. Interest profile, not interested. Investment profile, will look at it. Result key analysis not needed for now. And settlement profile, which is something that we will need, but let's just back to it later, right? So we have created a project profile for us right now. Let's just come back, and let's go through the other elements. Create project types for WS element. Yeah, we need this. Maintain procurement for profile. This is not mandatory. So we have something called as 01020304 category 123B. So again, when we'll use it, you will come to know like how we are going to use the project types. Project types and subtypes are one of the things that help to categorize the projects that we create into different categories. So what could these be categories, and this has to be discussed with business and come up with the smart categories to assign to different kind of projects that we will be creating in our system. For now, whatever is here in the standard, we'll just use it. But once we use it, you should be able to get to know why we are using this. Assign project types to project profile. Right, so project types that we created, and we could just assign the types to a profile. But let's not do that, and let's keep it flexible. When we'll create a project, we'll see specify applicants for WS element. So again, these are like the fields that we will have. Uh, right? We will have in a project that will need to update. So applicant could be anyone who is like uh, filling up the uh, or who could have or who could bear any responsibility against that project which we are creating it, right? So basically these are the users which we'll create over here. So we just created 1 2 3 4, and the another one is like option we have to assign somebody to you as a person responsible to the project or to each WBS element level. We could do that. I could say, let's just say again 1 2 3 4 5, and the user is Paul. So he's going to be our person responsible when we assign it. We could have multiple person responsible created and then assign them to a different projects, right? Define priorities, not needed. Validation substitution. These are just our normal validation substitution screens, which in the following video we could spend some time on understanding this, right? So I'll just close this now. Operator networks milestone will look at it in the upcoming videos, right? Now I'll go into the templates, define field selection for WS element. Just have a look at it. So these are like our field status variants, right? So it's very interesting that how the field status variant is handled in the project system, unlike the other one, right? So we'll just quickly spend 5 minutes understanding this because it's a bit tricky to understand. So we have all the fields basically right now here. We could just go ahead and say applicant number to be required or to be display or to be hidden, right? And then it will like hide this applicant number across the system, right? Because there is nothing else here, it's wide open on the client level. But to manage or to provide the flexibility on this part, uh, there is an option called influencing field, right? So if, if you click on this influencing, you will see you these different options which will influence your field selection criteria or field uh, basically field status criteria, right? So let's say I want to do it on a project profile level. So let's say for certain project profile I want to hide certain fields, and for certain project profile I want to make certain fields required. Then what I will do, I'll select the project profile as my influencing criteria. I'll give my project profile here 2020 cap is something that we created, and now for specific to this project profile I will influence the fields, right? Then again I will change the project profile, and for the different project profile I will influence fields differently. Similarly there are like multiple influencing fields, like let's say for company code level I want to influence, for my company code I want different set of fields to be behaving differently, right? So this is how you can do the setup of field influencing field status in the project system on the project definition level as well as on the WBS element level. So how these two are different from each other, that we'll look at it when we'll go into creation of the project. So but this field status is for the template, so maybe you don't want to do it from here, and maybe you would like to manage the fields from somewhere from here, right? What is user interface setting? Yeah, I think define layout for no, define detail screen, no, this is not it. Standard network, standard WS structure, settings for standard project coding mask, standard or operative WBS elements. Yeah, let's spend some more time on it when we'll come back to it. So now let's go to the cost. in cost there are some things that we need to check. So for a project, we need to look at the budget, the budgeting of the project, and then there are some tolerance limits and uh, which we could define over here. So let's maintain a budget profile first. Now budget profile is also a very important aspect of a project system. So I'll just say 2020 P with like let's say cap 2020 budget profile for capex, right? So the first criteria that we could give here is like time frame, like let's say it will basically allow you like how many years in past you would like to do or see budgeting, and how many years in future you want to do a budgeting. So we have said like 3 years in past and 5 years in future. So whenever we will go into a budgeting transaction, we will see the option like let's say now is 2025, so system will give 3 years back and 5 years forward options of years for us to choose and do the budgeting on it, right? So if you want, we could just change it like past 1 year and future 3 years budgeting, because forecasting it to like next 5 years, and no point in viewing like back dated of 2 3 years of budgeting or manipulating it, right? So let's make it 1 and 3. Total values, annual values, this is something that we'll get more clarity on when we'll go and actually do this. But yeah, for now let's just say like when you do the budget, you have the two options, like do the budgeting on annual level like for each fiscal year level, and the total is like total irrespective of the fiscal year, right? So we will check this both the boxes, which will make sure that we are flexible, or the users will have that flexibility to maintain the budget on annual level as well as on their total level. Decimal places and all, scaling factor we could give. So for example, if some currency is very weak and they have to maintain budget in millions and billions of dollars, then instead of running out of the space where we enter the digit, we could give the scaling factor and decimal places limitation, right? The exchange rate type, that whatever type we enter here is going to be used in converting the budget value into different currencies, right? Let's say if you are entering a budget in some foreign currency, it's going to use this exchange rate to convert it into the company code currency or the group currency, basically, right? And the value date, which is basically you can give a date on what on that date's rate will be picked up to do the budgeting. Usually I have seen the setup is like either start of the month or start of the year date usually being used to uh, do the budget conversion into different currencies. But changing the value date here, it becomes a customization activity. This is customization activity, right? A TR transport is involved. So instead of that, you can just use a different exchange rate, let's say P or some other exchange rate, for which you will only maintain the exchange rate on that particular. Let's say if you want to do a exchange rate conversion or budget conversion only with the start of the year exchange rate, like let's say for Indian it's like 1st April, then you with that exchange rate type you only maintain the exchange rate on the 1st April 2025. So throughout the year system will only get that date as the latest date exchange rate, and no need to maintain any value date over here, which is like kind of smart config that one can do. Moving on, see, yeah, availability control is something where we uh, will get warning messages or error messages when we start to exceed our threshold limit. So on the overall level, releases, uh, or the on the object currency level, how do we want availability control to work, right? There's this object currency is nothing but your currency that you will enter in your project while creating a project, and there will be a controlling area. If you don't check this, it will happen on the controlling area currency, right? So let's keep it unchecked. Let's do it. Check the overall and the budgeting currency. In which currency you want to do the budget? Controlling area currency or object currency? So let's say your controlling area currency is INR, Indian rupees, and the project that you are creating uh, is in euro. It's European project and project currency is euro. So when you want to do a budget of that project, how should it happen? Should it be in INR or should it be in euro? So this is a decision that one has to take along with the business, but it has to be decided very early on while we are doing this config, right? So for now we will say always do it on a controlling area currency. You could also, so this is a one project profile that you are creating. You could create a different project profiles with different setup and then assign it to a different project profiles, right? This is a budget profile. So I'll just save this uh, as it is. Whatever we have entered over here, I'll just clicked on save. So this budget profile will look at the tolerance uh, limit once, and then we'll go and complete our setup of project profile, because once that is done, I believe we are good to create a project or at least a structure. Yeah, system is a bit slow. Let's just see. Yep, got through. Yeah, definitely it has to be a Wi-Fi connection issue. If just for one back place is taking this much time, it's not worth it. Yeah, that's good. So here, like, you on a controlling area level, you could create one your tolerance or project availability control tolerance limit profile, and then give it your different rules, right? So we'll understand this by creating some rules for our controlling area itself, right? So 2020, and what is your profile? Project profile 2020 cap is the one that we have created, right? So for this profile, I'm going to say target group. When we give plus plus, it involves like all the activities, not only like purchase order or goods issue or anything, right? So if I select, let's say, just purchase order, it means I will get an error only in purchase order, not in goods issue or not in any other scheme. But if I say all activities, I will get an error or warning that my budget is about to cross or it's already crossing up, kind of errors, right? So what kind of error we should get? So one is warning, two is warning with mail to a person responsible, and three is error message, right? So we'll go ahead with the first warning, and we'll say warning on the usage of 90% of the budget, right? Then we'll create one more rule for our, okay, this is CP is our budget profile, not a project profile, right? Budget profile. Yeah, we need to, this is like, and we'll say like, let's say when the budget will be crossed like 105%, it should be a hard stop error, right? It could, you could also give 100% saying that we don't want any, even a single penny extra to be spent once the budget is executed. But yeah, we are given it like this. I'll just save it. So yeah, so now we need to understand. So we have created this rule on a budget profile level, right? And this is our 2020 CP is our budget profile, and 2020 CAP cap is our project profile. So right now there is no link between project profile and budget profile. But yeah, we have created these things. We need to understand this linkage between different things, right? uh, yeah, I mean, these are important ones. Reconstruct availability control and all, these are just some of the reports that are used to correct the uh, there are some kind of glitches in the system where budget is still available but system is giving us error or warning, unnecessary error or warning. So those kind of to avoid those kind of, this is not a config, this is just your one standard T code, CJBN, that you could use to reconstruct the budget of the project, startup project, and system will recalculate all the values and remove the unnecessary errors or warnings if there are any, right? Tolerance limit and budget profile is done. The next important thing is this one, settlement profile, because we want to settle our project to a different thing. Oh, so not sure what is the cause, but yeah, this is like after longest time it crashed, but it's crashing. Why it's crashing, not sure. So OK07, yeah. So right, so we'll just copy this. This is like very standard settlement profile that we use for even cost center settlement and internal order settlement and all those things, right? So I'll just say 2020 ST to be settled in full. uh, Actual cost of sales, down payments, there will not be any, but yeah, if there are any, should be settled in full. And then now allocation structure, PA transfer structure, right? So PA transfer structure is something that we will be needing, so we will configure that right after this. 100% validation on in a percent settlement, yeah, percent wise settlement, equivalent number should be, document type should be SA. Maximum number of distribution rules, let's do it 99. Residence time, let's do maybe 12 months, yeah. And then settlement, optional settlement to fixed asset, optional, yeah. Fixed asset is something that is important. Cost center is also something, not that, but yeah, important. Let's press enter. Let's save this and let's move on to PA transfer structure. I believe it was like something called as OK06. What is in the OK06? Allocation structure. Yeah, PA transfer structure is for profitability analysis, and we don't want it. We want allocation structure only. Yeah. So we have said here like A1 assignments. So let's just say everything is in like red, means nothing is maintained. Let's just say other cost source. 2020 is my controlling area. So till the time it loads, I'll just want you guys to do a quick promotion. So we have a site called erpcollege.co. Over there, you can just explore it. We have put up a couple of blogs regarding SAP and its various modules, mostly of the FI and CO. We have ebooks. Some of them are free, some of them are paid. I would like specifically talk about this one ebook, which is Learn to Debug ABAP Programs. So now, if you are an experienced consultant, you know that in most of the organization, in almost all of the organization, nothing runs on a standard. Everybody have their own uh, custom set of processes, build custom ABAP codes built on top of the standard system, and uh, it it's just a very valuable skill to have, to know basic debugging, so that even if you get stuck anywhere, you should be able to like quickly debug something and understand how the process is working and all. So if you want to get started with that, I think this ebook could help you very well. Not only get started with that, but with started with the debugging, but it will make you a bit more advanced in how you should navigate through the different programs, understand the programs, and all those stuff, right? So you can check it out. It is also available on Amazon. Then we also have a SAP FICO courses for different modules and for uh, all together as a FICO comprehensive training. You can do have a look at it. So yeah, let's go back. So what did we do here is like we said uh, yeah, we said like allocation structure as A1 assignment 30, which is like saying other cost, and for controlling area 2020 we would like to have uh, from cost element to cost element. And so basically we need to enter cost element which is going to be used in along with the WBS element. So we need to understand the way the chart of account is defined in this company code, right? So I'll just first, let's see what is the chart of account. It's 2020, very nice. Uh, OB13 or something. Yeah, OB13. OB13 is to define chart of account, but the chart of account groups OBD4, I believe. OBD4, OBD4. Yeah, and here we would like to see 2020, and there is this purchase expenses, right? In 2020 he has created one group called as expenses, other income, revenue, so many things. But yeah, expenses starting with 400 to 4999, right? So let's do a thing. Let's assign this entire range of elements just to avoid any kind of OK06. So this also has to be uh, decided with very cautious planning, and like which GL should be uh, assigned to our source allocation structure, because the GLs that business is going to use to do the posting on our project, only those should be assigned over here, and there should, most importantly, there should not be GL which should be left out, right? Because that will cause the balance to be remained in the WBS and will not get, the balance will not get settled to the target cost object, either cost center or fixed asset. Yeah, so I'll just do this, and here I believe 999, right? If I press enter and save this, yeah, settlement, okay, receiver category is FXA by the same cost element. We don't want to give a secondary cost element, right? And CTR by same cost element. So both the objects covered with the same allocation structure, no need to do. So A1 was already assigned in our settlement profile, and now we have to go to OPSA is a transaction code for the project profile, right? So this is the project profile which we had created, 2020 cap. Let's revisit it since we have created multiple objects. Still we haven't done anything on the validation substitution. No, we haven't created it. Let's go to the controlling tab. Costing sheet we haven't created. Investment profile we haven't created. Settlement profile is something that we have created. So which was 2020 ST, that's right. And then we have created a budget profile. If you remember, we gave the number of years and then the currency in which the budget should be updated and all those things, right? So budget profile is something that we have created, which was 2020 CP. Yeah. So all right. So these two things are important for us now, and then the object class is something that we are still stuck on. Um, all right. So, but for now, what I we have created the project profile and the mandatory setup for this. So let's just go in and see if we are able to create a project, right? So usually we will reference the project template that we will create, but we'll do that later point of time. Right now, what we are going to see is if we are able to directly create a project in the system without referencing anything, right? So, so we'll start with the C hyphen, then we set 30, so one, this is our first project, then we'll give a hyphen, then it should be followed by, okay, it should not be followed by anything. So let's say this is the name of our project, right? And then the further hierarchical WBS elements that we will build, so for that we will use the further characters, right? You'll get a more of idea when we'll do it in actual 2020 capex project. And then the important thing is like we have to select the project profile first thing, because this one controls a lot of things, right? So I'll just press enter to just see, let the system process all the details. Yeah, so you can see this is the project number, the first project that I'm creating. It's under created status, company code and controlling area picked up automatically. Company controlling area is picked up from our uh, project profile, and since right now there is only one company code assigned to it, it was also picked up. Now here you could see the fields called as person responsible, applicant number. So if you remember, we have created uh, person responsible and applicant number as 1234 1234. So we are going to say these projects are being handled by these peoples, and we'll just enter it over here. You could enter the plant profit center to limit this project or to assign this project to particular things. We'll go back to the control, and from our project profile the budget profile got determined, planning profile got determined from the project profile itself, and since the remaining fields we kept it blank, everything is coming up as blank. We have option to select whether this project is going to be a statistical or not. We have that option. If we do it as statistical, it will just be for the reporting purpose, and we can't do any settlement or anything out of this project, so it will purely be used for this statistical purposes. Yeah, so INVST is the short form that we should have inserted in the project profile, but nonetheless we have the option to directly enter over here as well. It just for the categorization purpose, it doesn't impact anything in the project level. Then there are some custom user fields that will look out for in upcoming uh, videos. Right now we will not spend time on it, but there are a handful of custom fields system has provided which will be used in like almost all of the clients, and this will like even be insufficient, and we will even need to create few more as in new. So right now it's in creator status, but this is just the project definition, right? We need to we need to create a WBS elements under this project so that those WBS elements can be used for the project, right? So what I'll do, I'll just right click on this, I'll say create, and I'll say WBS element, right? So you can see it has automatically given number 1, but instead of that I could like give something else also. Since this is alphanumeric character, we could do that. So I'll say, let's say we are building uh, a office for this, and this WBS is specifically for furniture, right? So this WBS element will be used to do the all kind of procurement of furniture, and later on we will settle this WBS element into a fixed asset called furniture. Simple one, right? It has selected account assignment element. If you want, if you select this, then this WBS element will be used for uh, you will be able to basically use this WBS element while posting your accounting entries or in your PO or in your PR or anywhere. But let's just do one more thing. Let's not say it as our account assignment element, and let's just see it as our group for furniture, and then again right click on it and again say a WS element, and you can see now after C we are getting another option, right? So here we will say 1 2 3 4, and this is our complete picture right now, right? So we will say this office furniture. Okay, and this is going to be my account assignment element, right? You could see here, and then I'll just go and create another one, and I will say here 2 3 4 5, and this is my uh, let's say campus furniture. Doesn't make This is not making any sense, but the idea is to just get you know like how to use this thing, right? So here we use this. Now I'll again click over here, say create a WS element, and instead of C now I'll say uh, E, and I'll say here as electricals and fittings, and I'll say this is not my account assignment, and I'll again go over here, create one, saying this as my 754. So these numbers have some kind of sense to it, right? Let's just say these are my sites, or this refer to my cost center or department or something, some amount of weightage this number carries. Yeah, or it could just be my sequential numbers, but something has to do with it. E is my basically differentiator. C, let's say C I use for furniture, E I use for electricals and fittings. Maybe I should have used F for, but there is meaning to it, right? And I'll just say electricals, and then maybe I can create one more and say that is my fittings, right? Fittings, and I'll just save this. Hopefully it gets saved. Yeah, we're good. I'll just open the project again, C-001, press enter, and I'm able to see project is in a created status. I have created these hierarchies of the project, which first one says furniture, and another one is for electrical fittings and all those things. The project right now is in a created status, and you will have the option to release it, right? If you go over here in the status, and there is an option called release the project, so I'll just try and release it. Just say, yeah, once you click on release, all you can see the status for all will get changed. I'll just try to save it. Okay, and it's released, right? But there is no budget to it, so let's just try to do a initial load of budget. So CJ30 is a T code to update the original budget, right? And then there are different T code to do a supplement and return for the project. But we'll look into those kind of things in more detailed way at later point of time. Right now, just let's try to update some amount of budget to it. So if I click on overall, if you see in the while creating a budget profile, we have given one past year and three future year. So based on that only we are getting an option here. Right now we are doing a budget of that on overall level. If you remember on a budget profile, we had an option of check boxes like, do we want to update budget on overall level or annual level? So because of that we are having both the options, right? Maybe I'm not sure if you guys recall it, or should I reopen that setting again? So I'll just quickly go and open it one more time. So project system, it will not take more than a minute. Cost, budget and maintain budget profile. And this is our, see, past 1 year, future 3 year, based on that, and total values, annual values. So based on, because of this setup we are seeing over there, controlling area currency should be our budgeting currency. So you will see here budget is getting updated in INR, which is our controlling area currency. But anyway, our object currency was also INR only. Our project is in INR, we didn't change the currency. But if let's say, or if you have created a project in euro, and over here if we have selected budgeting to be in object currency instead of INR, we would have been seeing euro over here. So these are the things that are very tiny in detail but very important when it comes to the actual business, right? So this is my budget on these two WBS elements which I'm trying to update, right? And right now if you see, so budget should come from the higher level to lower level. So this is my highest level node, these two are my higher level nodes. So there should be budget available on this higher level node to pass it down to the lower level. Right now I'm saying update 10,000 over here, but it is, you could see the distributable is going into a negative because it is saying you have already distributed 10,000 while there was no budget on the level 1. So it will not work out. So I'll just press 10,000 over here also. Now distributable has gone 0 on first level and 10,000 on second level, which means 10,000 rupees is available for further distribution or for use with this WBS element. Similar way we will do it over here, right? And I'll just save this once and then let's come back to it. Yeah, so these are now our original budget, right? Original budget which will always reflect here whenever we come back to this T code. It will always show us 10,000. 10,000 was our original budget, and right now the usable amount on this WBS element is 10,000. So as and when we will start using it, it will reduce down accordingly. Or if we distribute, let's say 5,000 out of it to some other, there is no lower level to this, but if there were, we could have distributed more to the lower levels. There was option, right? And then distributor column will show you how much the amount was distributed, and current budget will show you. So this is our original budget. And let's say at the later point of time in a year, uh, if you had a requirement to supplement more budget, 10,000 is already exhausted and you need more budget to complete your construction and all those things. So there are T codes like CJ37 to do a supplement. You can see change supplement. If I enter this project, you can see this screen now appears 0 and all the budget is showing like this. There are 10,000 available, and do you want to do a additional supplement of, let's say I want to do a supplement of 1,000. Again I have to do it from top to down. I'll press enter and now my available budget becomes 11,000. I save this, I come back to it again. Do you want to give more supplement, right? But if you go to CJ30, which is our original budget, which will remain 10,000 always. So this will give us the reports that what was the initial budget for this project and what is the current one, like what is the current budget. You can see over here, which means from initial budget we had to do a more supplementation to this project. Then if there are budget remaining on any node and you want to return it, there is a T code called CJ36 to return the, not CJ36, then CJ38, yeah, CJ38 to return the budget. And the same way you supplemented, you could just return it, right? Let's say let's return the 500. So let's just do one thing, uh, for the, so what we are going to say, we want to return the 500 from uh, here, right? Return 500 from our lower node to higher node. So what will happen once you return this? You could see now the distributable has become 10,500 over here, and 500 went to here, which means now level 1 has a balance of 500. In case in future if you need to distribute more to any of this lower level WS element, you could do that. So we'll just save it, or if you want to return it from the first level also, you can return it from this way, right? Now we'll again go to CJ20N to look at the status of the project now, right? It was release status. Yeah, you can see it is a release status on the level 1, but if you go to the lower level, you could see release plus budgeted, means this WBS has a budget now, it has been budgeted, right? So this way the status get changed based on the new activities that we do. Let's say if you do a settlement for this, then the status for this project will get changed to something else. If you create a settlement rule, it will change to, it will just add one more status showing that this WBS has a settlement rule. If you close this project, it will show a status of closed, right? All those things will start reflecting on the system status. Then there is a user status option, which is apart from the standard uh, system statuses, which is used specifically by the organization. They in the customization, in the customizing screen, we have a lot of various option to define the user status that we want and then use it accordingly, right? That we will see in the upcoming videos. Then so there are like lot more things to it. We haven't seen the asset accounting, investment measure, related assets, AUCs getting created automatically and assigned to the project automatically, right? So that level of setup we haven't done or seen yet, which we will see. How does the settlement of WBS element happen from WBS to AUCs and AUC to final asset? There are a lot of tricks over there which we will uh, explore in coming days. Then using these WBS elements to in the POs, in the accounting, and then uh, tracking it, doing various kind of reporting, the tables that on which this data gets stored, how to use these tables to analyze the data, different data. So all those things are there. If you work in a support environment, support related projects, you will get to explore all these different things, because in support you have to find out a lot of things, understand the system behavior, system setup, and then find out the root cause of certain issues and all. And when you do that, you kind of explore through different things. You don't have access to different part of the system, so you try to look for the tables and try to extract the data from different tables and all those things. So all those things we will try to explore in the coming videos. But for now, yeah, we're able to kind of set up project system and create a one project, successful project, do the budgeting for that project. So far so good, but there are just like lot of things that is there to be exploring in project system, which we'll definitely do. So for now, I think this is all.